Nice.
We're in.
So yeah, basically at the moment, the latest growth spurt in NFTs really has been just about art appreciation, and a lot of it's speculative, about the speculation of like the price of these NFTs, and that they kind of created the art, and then they're trying to find utility for the NFTs, like the Bored Ape Yacht Club. They have a lot of finance and money they got from the price of the NFTs going so high, and then they tried to now they're creating a metaverse and a game for it, etc. So they've started from that point, but we're actually doing it in a different way. We're looking, at utility of the NFTs, like what can they actually be used for. So one of the things we're looking at is how NFTs can be used in finance as well. So the applications for NFT farming. So using NFTs like in traditional yield farming and yield aggregating dApps. That's one side of it as well. So you can stake NFTs that can generate passive yield, passive income for you. Another side that I'm really excited about is called Redeemable NFTs. So this is all about like tokenizing products and then setting up a dApp so that the products can be launched, like an NFT launchpad, but then also having to set up the system to redeem these NFTs. So actually that's what we're doing at Tangent at the moment, and we have a proposal for it. And we've already partnered with one enterprise. So it's all about looking for companies that have products, have a brand, have a warehouse and storing already, have logistics already. And then we partner with them. We tokenize their product as an NFT, and then we launch it on the launchpad. And then after that, people can buy the NFT, and then they can take it and they can, trade it on an NFT secondary NFT marketplace, or even on like a decentralized exchange as well. And then finally, when they finish trading with it and they actually want to redeem the product, because these NFTs are like one-to-one representing a real product in the world, they go back to our dApp and they deposit it. We take it, lock it up, basically remove it from supply, give them a new NFT which represents their certificate of ownership for the real product, and then the enterprise we've partnered with will ship them the product. So has anyone got any questions about that process or want to say contribute?
Yeah, feel free to jump in. Maybe Lloyd, I see you here. I hope you don't mind me speaking to yourself. You're one of the early guys to join. Firstly, welcome, and yeah, feel free to have your input.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, it was, I'm in the space in that way myself. Our app is a urban farmer app, and we're actually tokenizing vegetables. So that's, wow. Yeah.
Cool.
So that's our thing. Same general idea, trying to find commerce places where NFTs actually fit. And so we were funded in Fund 8. We've done our proof of concept, wrapping that up here in July, and come August we've got the proposal out for Fund 9 to really strengthen the app and grow it from there. So we came from being a small farm and built what we were doing so that it could be replicable for others to use. And I participate in some other things around the chain as well. Drip drops and token, those sorts of things.
Oh, cool. Awesome. That's really cool. Fascinating. Yeah.
Sorry, just to interrupt, Lloyd, I think someone's asking if you can even share, I don't know if it's possible in the chat, link to what your organization's about. I think
oh, sure.
Vincent would
sure.
like to learn that. Not speaking for yourself, Vincent, but
yeah.
No, it's I'm really interested in that, in just that actually, is how we can tokenize real physical things. Especially when they're very, very ubiquitous, right? So things like vegetables, but also things, I'm really interested in a lot of the eco projects that want to do things like track every single tree in a forest. And you think, okay, this is actually very doable, but the scale is such that you cannot do it on main chain. And so, and you have to keep the costs for actually minting down. And so my question around these like super scale tokenization projects is, are we seeing like a way to get the cost of minting down by a couple orders of magnitude, even on Cardano? Too expensive.
Yeah, we can. So it's we're using, what we're doing for resilience is we're actually building a side chain. The Cardano node can be duplicated and then you just simply create a side chain. So that's the idea. So our side chain will be powered by our resilience token, the Resi token, rather than ADA. So therefore the cost is zero. And what you do is you write a nonce back to the main chain once every, whatever, 24 hours, 12 hours, you decide. It depends on how much, you need to report back, and how specific you need to make things, that proves that your chain is staying, valid. So that's all. It's a relatively simple process. I guess I'm hearing things with Hydra might be also a possibility, but that's a weird thing where it's kind of setting up and tearing down quickly. I'm not sure how that's going to work for that. But yeah, the idea of a side chain is actually very simple with Cardano.
Sure.
Yeah, I like that idea, Lloyd. That's really smart. Then that will allow it to scale up, many magnitudes and keep the cost very, very low, a fraction of what it was.
Can I ask Lloyd, in regards to, obviously it's perishable items, right? So how do you kind of combat that? What do you have in place?
So that's why the joke is that we're tokenizing vegetables. What we're really tokenizing is food traceability. We're tokenizing the fact that the food was produced at a certain place, touched by certain hands, and then moved from place to place. That's really what we're tokenizing. It's a fun joke to say we're tokenizing vegetables, but that's really what it is. It's actually food traceability.
So do those tokens get burned if the product is wasted?
So because it's traceability, it's you're tracing where it was produced, when it was produced. It's really, the value of it is for regulators that say, hey, there was a salmonella outbreak. This produce was found. It's got a label. They scan that label. They can see where that food came from, and they can look for similarities. And that's actually coming from a US perspective. It's not law yet, but it's coming in the next couple of years. And so we're actually a little ahead of it. And we're doing it for small farmers. The big farmers are all going to have it covered. They'll have it built into their apps that they pay thousands of dollars for. Small farmers are going to be screwed when this happens. So we're actually, part of what we're doing is to set this up so small farmers can continue to compete.
Not for nothing. As a side note, one industry that has a giant black hole in this regard would be the cannabis industry.
Yes.
And from the consumer perspective, it's sort of common knowledge that labels are abused. Labeling is abused. The packaging system is abused.
Yes.
The date, freshness, and the THC content and all.
Sure.
Yeah,
So
we could really benefit with traceability in that industry, right? That'd be amazing if we could apply that to there.
Yeah. And it will work the same. It'll be a matter of people choosing to do it now. So that's, it's not force of law at this point, but when it becomes force of law for whatever it is, we'll be there and ready for it. But I say there's a benefit to it, even if you aren't forced to do it. Our sales are improving because we're able to show more proof of what our product actually is. It does actually help. It'll help on a larger scale. So.
Can I ask a dumb question, Lloyd, about it sounds like physical provenance. I was working with a gentleman who was doing archiving and got really into like W3C provenance stuff and tracking where things come from. Are you publishing on the chain? Are you publishing locations, or I'm just curious if someone, I'm a big data person in my private life or professional life, whatever. And so I just imagine somebody being able to build quite a lot of value over that data if it's organized and accessible. How much data can you keep in the token? And are you coming? One of the things I was always interested in is, and I haven't got a lot of experience with this, but the maximum size of a token is still quite small, right? So
it is.
A lot of times what you're doing is you're like the JPEGs, for example, you're having to drop them somewhere else and then link to them, which is not in the token itself. And so I'm wondering, how much data can you keep truly in network?
So in network, very little, and that's the secret. The secret is actually that it's the off-chain metadata standard. It's a CIP 26, I think. Off the off the top of my head, but it's an off-chain metadata standard, and we are going to be using that standard. We're going to keep extensive records. We're going to keep IoT transactions that are related to the harvest. We're going to keep sensor data. We're going to keep, logins and logouts, everything. There'll be so much data on it. We're actually paring down the data we give to the consumer, but if a regulator needs it, or if it, whatever, all the data is linked, and all the data is actually secured on chain because of the way that you write what you write in the metadata. It can prove cryptographically that the data hasn't modified from the time of completion. That's the kicker. So.
Perfect. Fascinating.
External metadata standard. CIP 26, how old is that?
It's not very old. It's still in in continuation. People are talking through it. It hasn't been finalized yet, but we're supporting it obviously because it's helpful to us. And we're going to continue to try to push that one through to be a finalized.
I want to just note that I'm not aware of any established CIP for external metadata, an external metadata schema that benefits secondary marketplace. In a future where tokens have more and more utility attached to them, when you're viewing a product page, as a consumer, you're perceiving its value now not just in the art or how hyped up the artist is, but what the token actually does, and perhaps its current state on the sidechain. If a token is a sword in 2 different games, then JPEG Store is going to need to relay its level or its health status or whatever on that product page. That's externally referenced meta.
Yeah, you'll need some sort of oracles, on the main chain that allow you to query the data, and we will ultimately have an oracle position that allows people to query our database and know it, and then we decentralize our database by having the side chain, right? So ultimately, we incentivize people to have their own copies of our database so that it stays out in the wild by them. The same way you incentivize with ADA to stake pool operators, they will still be stake pool operators, and they're still going to be carrying these databases. They're just side chain databases. They're not polluting the main chain, with specific industry specific information, but they're still decentralized because those other stake pool operators are incentivized to keep the network running.
I'm wondering if the reference to this external data should actually be an API request URL.
It is. We are doing API. That's all of ours are built on API requests. Like that's exactly you just can query any stake pool in our sidechain to get the same data. Any stake pool that operates it. So what we'll have is a mainnet facing oracle, which is a web API, and you pay for access to that as needed. So for somebody like JPEG Store, they'd have to acquire Resi and pay Resi to speak to our oracle and get that information from our oracle. If we're not a video game, so it's not an exact thing, but same way. If some third party wanted to take our NFTs and somehow use them to display all that information, that's how they would do it. So they would use our oracle.
Nice. That makes sense, right?
It's fun stuff. I'm enjoying this. I started with the internet in the early 90s. I was building ISPs like 94. I've always been an IT geek. So this new, way of doing things is it's just exciting. It's just a lot of fun.
Yeah, it is pretty cool. I think just for record, I think it's CIP 25. Correct?
Thank you.
We use the same here.
Okay.
We think it's pretty cool to kind of standardize something, and we definitely support the standardization of metadata as well.
But
excellent. Yeah.
There has been some talk, right, about it lacking. It could be improved. So definitely.
Sure. And I know that's from our side too. As we start finding more of the warts in it, we're going to write the proposal ourselves to improve it. We're actually kind of working on the idea of the semi-fungible token right now. And we want to see if that ends up being its own separate CIP as well. We think it could be, because we're kind of trying to fit everything into the idea of the off-chain, metadata. But if failing that, if we add a CIP that allows us to, these things are fungible in the token and these things are unique in the token, then we're good. Like, we're totally good. And that for a food type of thing, we're great with that. Games too. Games will love that, that concept of these things are fungible with one another and these other things are unique. It's super helpful. So that's another, I haven't started writing the CIP yet, but if I can't work it out with off-chain metadata, that's the direction I'm going to go.
So kind of like for in-gaming assets, right? Like in-gaming, items and stuff. Yeah.
It's so funny. Food and game items are like, they both need all the same stuff. So
awesome. And another thing we were talking about today, we're at a fintech conference and they were pretty excited about tokenizing things like real estate, or even you could tokenize, say for example, a yacht, like a boat, tokenize the yacht, and then you have it out being rented out. So you have some another company managing the boat, they rent it out on your behalf. That's generating now profit. That's a yield. I mean, that can be fraction, the boat's fractionalized, and then the profit from that business basically is given to the NFT holders, that kind of thing. Or tokenizing real estate as well. But this is with real estate, there's some more regulatory hurdles to jump through.
Yeah.
But quite a few more regulatory hurdles for that. But for something like a boat, it's pretty easy to do. So for us, we're doing our proof of concept product launch is going to be a tokenized beer. So we've partnered with a brewery called Guilo Beer, and they've got breweries in USA, Sydney, Europe, and Japan. And we're going to brew a limited edition craft beer, non-alcoholic, unfortunately, for the first one, because yeah, just because we were looking into the shipping aspect of it for redeeming it, and it was just going to be a real pain to ship alcohol around the world. So yeah, we're doing non-alcohol though, and
why not just go ahead with it as a local thing?
Yeah, this is it. I mean, that was the we're trying to make this decision. Do we just do it only for North America, or just for the States, or do we just do it only for Europe like this? And then we're kind of trying to decide. I don't really have the information about how the Cardano community is made up, right? How many, where is everybody, and are they mostly in the States or where? So that was the only issue. And then someone was trying to say that even shipping in between states can be problematic if you haven't got all the labels on that some states require. So, but
yeah, we're trying to be encompassing of everyone as well. We don't want to single out people or territories to say you can't do this. Hence why we're kind of going for the non-alcohol route initially. Just to expand a little bit more on that, what we plan to do is one of the artists that we're collaborating with on our Genesis launch, Quirtz, the Bohemian Japanese artist. He's going to create around 3 different options, and we're hoping for the community to vote on which label will be kind of included on this beer. And of course the packaging as well. We hope to distribute it in packs of 6. Obviously users can choose to get more than a 6-pack. And yeah, we just find this is that this is quite a cool way to dip our feet within this space. Of course, Clinton's already mentioned the different levels that we can build into this eventually. Even with the kind of boat and the possible property, depending on jurisdiction regulations in time to come. We almost thought of it as a timeshare as well. So people who have the NFT, who have the fractional ownership, can also use it. They can come and visit, they can spend time in it. So yeah. Maybe we can put it out to some other people. I don't know if. Feel free to shout up if you'd like to raise some other alternative utilities that you've thought of. No pressure, but I don't know if Mohammed or Nicholas or Ricardo, feel free to chip in if there's anything else you'd like to say.
For the voting power. Sorry, it's not clear. It's not clear. For giving the right to vote. So it waits waiting for the vote, you know. So I have this NFT. Oh, it's not that hard. You cannot hear me. It's not for everyone.
Shout, please, Mohammed. I think it's my speaker.
Hello, it's much better now.
It was better when you were right next to it.
Okay. So sorry for that, sir.
All good.
So the idea is that we have the NFT representing something like the avatars. We have a community from these avatars. So the idea is that for each avatar, we'll have a voting power. So we wish to use the NFT for granting calculating the voting power, because not each avatar will have its the similar voting power because of the rarity. So every avatar will have a different voting power. So because we will not rely on a token for the governance, we are relying on our platform on the avatar itself, because we consider them the citizens. But unfortunately, even being a citizen, that doesn't give you the same voting power. It's not equal voting power for the citizen in our case. How I say it, it's not the same voting power for each avatar. It's based on the rarity. So this is something that what I understand is that the smart contract cannot read the metadata. So we maybe will have a problem with that. So this is some of the utilities that we wish to introduce into the NFTs, just some open the discussion. And also the parcel will have the same thing. So if we apply for the avatar, we will apply the same for the parcels. Is it clear?
External metadata can't be referenced by a smart contract, but the query can be processed by the off-chain code before the transaction is created, and that can be sent along with the transaction in the in the redeemer data.
The totem.
We have not into this details yet, but the idea we have it right now. We have not went to like a deeper discussion on this. Just I take a consultation from one of the blockchain architect, and he advised about that. So I'm just thinking about using the NFT for that. Let's see the solution that will bring as we progress in using utilities for the NFT. So that's it.
Yeah, I mean, thank you. Obviously, thank you for sharing, Mohammed. The way to implement that is yeah, I'm not too sure if it's possible. Maybe, I don't know, Clint, can you expand on that at all?
Just like Abraham was saying before as well, like that data could be sent within the datum, the Redeemer datum. So but yeah, I mean, I think it also links into what Lloyd was saying before about the semi-fungible NFTs, where some, you have these different citizenship levels, which have different, he wants to have different voting rights. This is because it's like an in-game metaverse kind of thing. So
yeah.
It's very
Sorry, Lloyd, did you want to chip in?
Yeah, I have to drop off because I do have another meeting coming up. But yeah, exactly. That is one of those potential use cases, is exactly that. The more that the metadata can be addressed on chain in the proper ways and identified as what it is, the easier these kind of things become. So we do have some work to do to get there. It is very difficult to query metadata right now. That's a very hard task for anything unless you're doing it off chain. That can be done, but then it's very cost intensive. The computational costs of that get high, and so you start running into troubles there. So if we can identify this data and label it so that it's easy to reference, that's going to be a huge benefit. So for sure. So, but yeah, I do have to run, guys. Thank you all for having me today. I appreciate it. And it was good talking to all of y'all. I'm looking forward to the beer drop. We'll see you soon.
Thank you. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
See you. I mean,
yeah.
I guess the best way to explain like the NFT launchpad that we're building, it's kind of like Groupon. You all know Groupon. You can buy products on there. It's similar. What we plan to do with this is, you're buying the products, but the way we're doing it is via NFTs, and obviously that plugs in with like CNFT and NFT Maker and JPEG.store, and also Sunday Swap too. We're going to make it so it can be traded on there, so you can trade the NFTs amongst yourselves, and then finally, when you want, you can redeem them. But yeah, a lot of it also requires us to partner with good enterprises who can help. You know, we don't want to be doing logistics and shipping beer to everybody, really. So that's why we're lucky we have the first enterprise we partnered with. But yeah, this is a proof of concept, and hopefully, you know, the ideas around it will be evolving later. It can also be used for in-game items too, right? So not just physical, tangible goods. I mean, I'd like to see a really cool, you know, tokenized weed that we could ship to a few states where it's legal. That'd be pretty cool.
Well, here's the thing, like it still has value even with existing laws. If I'm in Tennessee and I'm going to take, you know, a vacation to Texas, I can buy the NFT and then travel across state lines with it. I can also just be like a commodities flipper of sorts and flip utility NFTs all day. I'm buying the cannabis NFTs because I know someone in California will want it for more later.
Exactly. I mean, this is it, you know, it's impossible to have you set up these products and the redemption so it can ship everywhere with anything, you know, it's just impossible to do logistically. But I mean, look at, so, you know, people are happy to redeem things if they know where the locations it can be redeemed, and then they're happy to purchase the NFT in advance to know they're going to redeem it somewhere. I mean, it's just like Tether now. Yeah, US dollar Tether, Tether.io, they have a tokenized gold, right? And they're literally doing like 1 ounce of gold per 1 token, and they put the serial number into the token data, and that gives you the right to redeem this ounce of gold. But the only place you can redeem it is Switzerland. So as long as you're in Switzerland, you could redeem their tokens theoretically for the physical gold. But that's just, you know, that's just how, that's the only way they could do it. They didn't want the bother with all the shipping. I met another company today who actually do the similar thing. They have a gold token, and they're doing redemption all over the world, but they didn't really go into the fee structure or anything about it. So yeah, it's interesting.
Along the same lines, I have an unsuccessful art project called Terpene Worlds. It's AI art mixed with cannabis. And the angle that I was having fun pursuing was getting gallery representation. Foremost as a physical artist who was selling prints that were provably finite, and that the NFT was just your receipt of ownership.
Yes.
And the catch with that is when you purchase one of these super fancy frames, the art itself is actually modified. A guy might have a neck tattoo, and the asset ID would be in the neck tattoo.
Oh,
So
cool.
the implications of that is, even though they're just prints, they're provably just as finite as an oil painting. If someone were to replicate the physical, then by inference of ownership, I'm the owner of the original and all the counterfeits.
Exactly. And you have the certificate of ownership there that proves that, right? The NFT. So that's pretty cool.
Fascinating. Mohammed, did you have your hand up before? Please,
sorry
please
guys,
jump in.
I just one. I saw that you are traveling to Dubai. So if you wish to have like a connection in Dubai, we have a WhatsApp for the Cardano Mia. So if you wish to like be part of this Cardano WhatsApp group for EMEA, mostly are located in Dubai. So let me know. I will send you the invitation for the WhatsApp. So maybe you have some people to like before you travel. So you have to like making like I don't know the words. It's like making like so you got the point. So
Sure,
so
sure.
I would share the WhatsApp with you, Clint. So is Clint is the one who's traveling?
To be fair, we're both based in Dubai at the moment.
Okay.
I've just shared my email in the chat. Feel free to copy it up and drop us a message. And
I will drop you a message with the WhatsApp link. So
cheers. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, we have a meet up in Dubai. go out for a
Prepare
drink,
for the hot sun, okay?
Isha.
dinner.
And the hot sun, this is the worst thing. Is it humidity now in Dubai? Because
Sorry?
it's humidity now in Dubai.
Yeah, it's pretty hot.
Yeah, you know.
It's very hot. Now it's the worst is the humidity. You know, you cannot even breathe. And people that is wearing glasses is the worst. You know, that's when you just got jumping out of the door, and suddenly you just got blank out. So be careful. Be careful of that.
It's a sandstorm in a matter of seconds. Yeah.
Yeah.
Amazing. But yeah, it'd be great to connect. Absolutely. So yeah, just before this breakout room, I scribbled down a few other things that we talked about in regards to utility. Maybe I could just, or the utility of NFTs going forward. Maybe I'll just shout out some of them and we could possibly briefly talk about them. So obviously the legal side of things, you know, in regards to marriage certificates, birth certificates, death certificates. You know, we were speaking with someone today who's kind of implementing this, and it's fascinating. You know, it's certainly area of utility. And another area was the automobile side of things. So we were speaking with someone else yesterday regarding this, and supposedly it's in the pipeline with a leading German manufacturer of cars. It's not BMW, but let's just speculate it's BMW. And for example, there's talk of them creating a specific model. Let's call it the digital car. And for example, it will be a BMW NFT 01. And yeah, it will be validated on the blockchain. They'll have an NFT to say this is the ownership, etc., etc. So yeah, it's very interesting where this whole space could go. The world is the oyster, as they say.
Yeah, the guy who was telling us about that was one of the people who's working at Binance in UAE, and he's head of their compliance and helping them get all licensed up in the UAE. And he said that the plan is, wasn't it, so that BMW could keep charging each customer 1% every time it got sold on forever?
Exactly. Yeah, I was
He's
like, as if a car service light coming on every 10,000 wasn't enough to get another revenue stream. We'll have to charge them every time they sell a car. So
yeah, a new payment sharing, you know, method is coming out in the future, guys. We're gonna have to pay 1% all the time to these production, you know, these manufacturers probably, you know, and they're gonna use the NFT and the blockchain to ensure that, yeah, we don't rip them off. Oh well. But yeah, that was.
It would be nice to have a group. It would be nice to have a group where one by one we all buy each other Lambos, just one at a time.
Sharing's caring. We could fractionalize ownership. I mean, like,
Yeah, my hand needs to be on the wheel. Throughout these conversations, I'm hearing a lot of, you know, tokenize this and tokenize that, but for the actual redemption or proving ownership, don't you foresee some sort of extra layer, an OAuth service of sorts that makes it easy for anybody to prove that they have a token and that they deserve this or that?
Yeah, there needs to be some sort of layer where that redemption can happen, right? Totally. For the tokenized beer, what we're actually doing is we're gonna the first token that gets sold isn't actually an NFT. It will be a fungible token. So for example, we have 3,000 beer cans. There'll be 3,000 beer tokens, and then those will be sold to people in the launch pad, and then they can take them and trade them freely in Sunday Swap, say for example. And then when they want to redeem it, they have to come back to our DApp, and they deposit it into the DApp. We take it, lock it up, remove it from supply, effectively burning it, and then that is redeemed. They put in their delivery details. We forward it to the brewery, and then finally we give them an NFT that basically is a certificate of ownership there. And then we need to have some sort of a QR code on there with that, and also on the beer that can be scanned and, you know, links into like a block explorer to show that, yeah, this is all authentic beer, and this is the NFT it links to, like that. So basically, if you do join the Launchpad, you'll get 2 NFTs. You'll get one that just shows your participation in the Launchpad event, and then you have your beer token, and then finally, when you redeem your beer, you get another NFT, which is a certificate of ownership. But yeah, it becomes more complicated, I guess, when we're talking about creating like a new tokenized asset class which generates a yield, right? And it's giving you a right to something. You know, that
It would
becomes
be nice if I was able to walk into a bar and use an interface on my phone to show a QR that is scanned, and at that time, a transaction goes through and I'm handed a beer.
That'd be pretty cool. Yes.
In fact, you could create some sort of random gibberish security code that is related in your sidechain to the fact that a token was redeemed and that code has not been used before. Not unlike Google Authenticator.
Yes. That would be important, right? Because you wouldn't want them the same code to be possibly used twice. So it's very true. Ben G, Mr. Ben G, how are you doing? You haven't said much tonight.
Hello everyone. Yeah, nothing much. Getting pretty late over here. The sun is going down.
Nice. What's the time right now where you are?
It's 14 minutes before 9 p.m.
9 p.m. Wow, nice. Have you had your dinner yet? Have you eaten?
Sorry?
Have you eaten already?
Yes, yeah, I have.
Eating NFTs for fun. Absolutely. I mean, another layer that we were going to have in today's meeting was to actually bring Quertz in, our digital artist from Japan, to really just give his feedback on how we could support digital artists in alternate ways. If we're going to be honest, we didn't really know we were going to be hosting this until we applied almost 2 weeks ago, but we didn't get any kind of verification that we were going to be successful until luckily I checked the Telegram group and I saw our name on the bottom. But yeah, it's like 3-4 a.m. in Japan, so he's sadly not here tonight. But yeah, he had a variety of different things which we talked about on ways that you know, we could support the digital artists, and obviously classics, buying the art, but also different things like actually contributing to the space yourself, you know, becoming an artist. You know, I think if we host another breakout room, which we plan to do, hopefully he'll be able to join us then. And yeah, he was very happy to support, like, and give evidence of his road or how he got to where he is. But also, yeah, if you the example he gave, which was a little bit different, was the kind of emotional support. Like, if you know digital artists, for example, we're fortunate in Tangent, we have a team of 7 soon to be more developers within, so we're able to bash ideas around and have these breakout rooms. For a lot of digital artists, they're on their own, you know, they haven't got anyone to share the ideas with. So yeah, guys, it's a case of supporting them in ways like so. Yeah, just carrying on from there in regards to the space of CNFTs as well. I believe it was brought to the attention that CNFTs bring in, like, the volume is the 3rd biggest now in the whole space, which is incredible, obviously behind Ethereum and Solana. And I honestly think that's just going to keep on evolving, you know, with the amazing marketplaces that are on board. And yeah, in the coming weeks, as we are doing a token sale coming up, and a fully regulated one, and we're very keen to promote our NFTs throughout that. So when people obviously jump on board, inshallah, as we say, Mohammed, then we're also going to be launching our NFT sales at the same time. So with these NFTs, of course, it gives you the opportunity to stake them and get some incredible APY, and they're really cool. I'm not even just saying this; they're really cool artworks with these hidden secrets and things that need to Enigma codes that need to get broken within. If you purchase the NFT, then you will also have the unlocking kind of JPEG, which gives you all the answers, but that's not fun. We encourage everyone to try and crack the code themselves first.
Sorry for this, but maybe it's a naive question. Sorry for that. It's maybe naive question. What is staking of NFTs? How it works? The staking of the NFTs, how it works? So for coins, we understand the staking of the coins. So we have like a transaction because of the network, and this is a reward of the transaction of the network. That's something that's obvious. This the return of a stack. But for the NFT, how it works? I keep hearing that you can stack the NFTs. Part of our project also that we will allow the people to stack the NFT, their avatars or their parcels as NFTs. But how it works?
Good
Can you
question.
explain? Yeah, shoot.
Yeah, it's similar to staking like normal assets, but basically you stake the NFT into a smart contract, and then there will be a reward that's given. So the reward could be more NFTs, or it could be a new token. So like a governance token or a token that's linked to that NFT. Another thing that we're thinking about as well, which we did do once on it, we did it on Ethereum, but the fees were crazy when we did it. And what we did was we had you know, like liquidity pool tokens, like you stake like ADA / Hosky token in liquidity pool token in the farming app, and you get some more Hosky token, right? We did something similar to that, but we also had NFTs. So if you stake the liquidity pool token plus the NFT, then your reward was multiplied. So if you had like 5 NFTs, it was like 5x. If you had 10 NFTs, it was a 10x. If you had no NFTs, it would just be like 1x reward. We actually built an app like this on Ethereum, and also it was very, very expensive with the fees. It was like impossible for people. Only whales could redeem it. So a lot of whales came in and they were doing it, but literally they were paying hundreds of US to do transactions. But I've seen a lot of projects like this on Binance Smart Chain, because obviously Binance Smart Chain is a very centralized version of Ethereum and the fees are very low. So they do a lot of that there. But yeah, mostly what I'm seeing now is I'm seeing a lot of tokens where you just stake the NFT and you get the governance token like that. So that's how they're doing it, or like a game where they have characters and you breed the characters, make a new NFT, and then you have to stake them, stake 2 together, and then you get a new NFT after the breeding period's over or something like this. So just seeing it a little bit like that. So it's pretty similar to staking, like a normal yield farming token or something, liquidity pool token, whatever. But it just seems to be using more. It seems to be more complex, like technologically, in that technical sense. So it does require more fees. That's for sure.
It seems to make sense that all NFTs with the same policy ID could get grouped into some sort of index fund that is its own marketplace. So people with clays, when they stake their clay, it all gets lumped into one giant collection of clays as like a single token, a single window. And you put money into this market, it has the effect of making the value go up. You withdraw it, and if you withdraw your NFT, that's less like liquidity, but it wouldn't destroy the market like fractionalizing one NFT would.
Yes, definitely. It's the same policy ID, right? They could be grouped together in that way. That'd be awesome. That's pretty cool.
Thank you guys for that. Sorry for the interruption. Thank you.
Not even, no
No problem, no problem. I've got a little boy who's come here now as well. Here he comes.
What's his name, Clint? Do you want to share?
His name's Blaze. Blaze.
Meaning.
Oh, he's
Looks
what?
pretty
I cannot control him.
So I don't know if anyone's got anything else they would like to share. To be fair, it's been been a pleasure to host this, and yeah, it's been quite productive as well. I hope we've been able to have some small talk and also share a little bit about our plan and learn along the way. But yeah, if anyone else has anything to share, please do. Otherwise,
I'm out of here, but I have a project I'm working on now that is kind of sort of in the same ballpark. NFT utility as a service.
Wow.
I have one dev partner, and as the proposer, it's my job to make all of the UML diagrams. That's what I'm going through now. It's so hard. But we think we're still on track for October. I would appreciate any feedback or ideas on it.
sure, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, please share away. I think my email's in the chat there, but yeah, feel free to drop any of the team members a message. It's just the first letter of the name and the surname for all of us, and yeah, we'll certainly jump in there. And yeah, on the flip side as well, please feel free to jump in, guys, and if you're voting or give some feedback to our proposals. They're all on there on Ideal Scale. I think we've got 6 on there, but the main ones, of course, are the Launchpad and the farming platform on the DApps section. But yeah, I think that's probably a wrap, guys. So yeah, thanks again, and hopefully we'll see you all again soon.
Thank you, Abraham. Thank you, Mohammed. Thank you, everybody.
Cheers,
Take care.
guys. Take care.
Bye-bye. Take care. Bye-bye.